and let's briefly talk about debugging. So what is debugging? Debugging is a process of of removing errors or deducting errors from a computer program. So we can see that the most expert software developers, they usually do make errors in computers, and these errors in computers are what are referred to as bugs. So errors in computer are usually referred to as bugs, and the term was popularized by whom? Grace Hopper in 1947 while working on a Mark II computer at the US lab. She saw a moth stuck into the computer. She saw a moth stuck into the computer and was impeding its operation. It was disturbing its operation. Removing the moth or debugging, which is debugging, the computer fixed it. In this section, we'll talk about different types of errors. So we have three types of errors. We have what we call the syntax error. And then we have the runtime error. We also have what we call the logic error. So let's first start explaining about the syntax error. At least we know the syntax error. So syntax errors are errors in the usage of a programming language itself. The way we use the programming language, it would result into what? A syntax error. So a syntax error can be a failure to adhere to the rules of the language, such as misspell, a keyword, or forgetting a punctuation. You just forget a keyword. Keywords are very important when it comes to programming. Or even you forget a punctuation, that would result into what? Into a syntax error. Missing a punctuation such as semicolon. When you have a syntax error, you are essentially not speaking the same language. You wouldn't be very comprehensible if you started injecting nonsense words or words from different languages when speaking to someone in English. Similarly, a computer can't understand what you are trying to say. Oh, what is this person trying to say to me? The computer will not be able to understand. As a result, those are what we call syntax errors. So typically, syntax errors prevent you from compiling a program through syntax errors. Can be a problem at runtime with interpreted languages. Through this same syntax, it would result into some problems into runtime when trying to interpret different languages. It can be C++, Java, just languages that talk direct to the machine. When a syntax error is encountered, a compiler will fail to complete the compilation process and will generally quit. The compiler, it will not be able to compile with the instructions given to the computer. It will fail the compilation process and definitely fail. So let's look at another error. First, before doing that, how can we fix? Fixing syntax error involves reading and interpreting the compiler error messages needs to read and interpret one by one the compiler message, re-examining the program and fixing any or issues to conform to the syntax of the programming language. So there is also another type of error, which is the runtime error. Runtime error. What does this runtime error do? What's all about it, the runtime error? Once a program is free of syntax errors, it can be compiled and be run. It should be able to run, process those instructions and data. However, that doesn't mean that the program is completely free of bugs. It's not free of bugs because there can be other bugs that can affect the same program. Just that it is free of types of bugs. So when it is learning, it's being compiling, it's just free of some types of bugs, like what we call syntax errors, that it is free, that the compiler is able to detect. So we can say a compiler is not able to predict every action. The compiler is not able to predict. It doesn't predict every action, as well as or possible event that could occur when a program is actually run. A runtime error is an error that occurs when a program is being executed. So what is the runtime error? It's an error that occurs, when the program is being executed. During that command time, that's when the runtime error it will occur. For example, a program could attempt to access a file that does not exist, or attempt to connect to a remote database in the system, but the computer has lost its network connection, or a user could enter bad data that result in invalid arithmetic operation. All those can cause a runtime error. A compiler cannot be expected to detect such error because, by definition, the conditions under which runtime error occur at runtime, not at compile time. The conditions they occur during the runtime, not compiling time, which involves those syntax errors. As a programmer, it is important to think about the potential problem and runtime error that could occur and make contingency plans accordingly. So there is also another type of error, which is the logic error. What is all these errors all about? So this logic error is these are just errors that we tell the computer to do something that we didn't intend for them to do. For example of these errors, if we tell a computer to execute commands, if we tell a computer to execute command, such as under certain conditions A under condition X, but we mean to have the computer execute B under condition Y, definitely there will be a logic error. We have caused a logic error and it will be unable to finish its execute or its command. The computer will perform the first set of instructions but fail to do the other set of instructions. So logic error generally only detected and addressed by rigorous software testing. When you are testing a software, then it can be easy for you to discover such type of errors. So when developing such type of errors, we can also design a collection of test cases, a set of input along with correct outputs that we would expect the program of code to produce. So we'll try to test using different softwares, and then maybe they fail, then we will discover that there's an error that will occur, and that's what we call the logic error. So that's all for today about debugging. See you next time as we'll talk more and discuss more teaching each other more on programming. Thank you for watching.